The new generation will start dominating the battlefield with Shanks and Luffy quickly finishing off their opponents. This would allow them to help their teammates, and before long, the old generation would be obliterated. Yep, that was a clean victory for the new generation, but they shouldn't celebrate just yet, because the old gen still has 2 more stages left, and in the next one, the Pirate King, Goldie Roger, and Shiki would be joining their ranks. Okay, this is pretty terrifying for the new gen, so let's start by taking care of the biggest problem first. Roger. Shanks came from Roger's ship and is in many ways like him, one of those being strength, swordsmanship, and overall hockey mastery. He even learned Divine Departure from Roger, and the attack looked just as powerful as the original when he used it against Kid. So I think it's fair to say that these two are somewhat equal. Then Kuzan and Ben will team up to hopefully defeat Rayleigh, Gaben, and Odin. Yeah, I know it sounds impossible, but it's the only way if the new generation wants to win. As for Shiki, I have reason to believe he's not as strong as the Emperor's. He had the biggest fleet in the show, which made him super scary, but other than that, he doesn't seem to be on the same level as the other X-Rocks pirates like Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard. And even though it's not canon, it doesn't help that he lost to pre-time skip Luffy in the movie. So, assuming that he really is weaker than the Emperor's, that would mean that Kid-in-Law would be more than enough to deal with him. This time Luffy will have to go alone against Whitebeard as there's just no other way, while Zoro and Blackbeard will join forces to fight Kaido and Big Mom together. And even though these are the best possible matchups for the new generation, they're still not in a good spot. The first fight to be over would probably be Luffy versus Whitebeard, as Luffy's stamina simply wouldn't allow him to keep up with Prime Whitebeard, and soon enough he'd be crushed. By this time, Kuzan and Ben would have defeated Gaben and maybe even Odin, but with Whitebeard coming to assist, they would have no chance. Blackbeard and Zoro would manage to take down Big Mom, but they wouldn't have enough strength to beat Kaido too. Once the old generation wins these fights, everything will start crumbling for the rookies and they would soon be wiped out. With this loss, the new generation is getting their final 2 fighters, Mihawk and Crocodile. Can the new generation finally win now that they're at their full strength? Even with more fighters on the battlefield than the last time, Shanks would have to go alone against Rogers so that the others could have a chance at winning. Mihawk will take on the opposing strongest swordsman, Rayleigh, and I believe these two would also even out. Now, Luffy couldn't beat Prime Whitebeard alone last time, but we also can't spare any strong fighters to give him, so the only help Luffy can get is Crocodile. And I know what you're thinking, Crocodile lost to pre-time skip Luffy, so he would be pretty much useless, right? Well, not really. You see, after the time skip, a lot of characters became way stronger than they were before, like Lucci, Kaku, Dory, and Brogy. Considering Crocodile's bounty is now almost 2 billion berries, he must have gotten incredibly strong too. Also, he has some previous experience with fighting Whitebeard, so this is probably the fight that will let him shine the brightest. Moving on, Kid-in-Law would go against Shiki, which seems pretty reasonable.